Bulletin of 1933 reported,
"The President and the faculty are holding up bravely, but their ability to carry the load has well nigh reached the saturation point."
In 1938, depressed and ill, President Studebaker resigned. He had served the college for 15 years, longer than any other president. The new president, C. Ernest Davis, set about immediately to define the major task of the college.
It is imperative to balance our budget and get out of debt. Our indebtedness hangs like a millstone around our neck.
It's 1940 and there's not much to smile about. There's a war in Europe that is endangering the whole world, and nearly 70% of rural America is still without electricity. To add to the gloom, my send money quick letter home was returned postage due. Stamps now cost 4 cents. On the bright side, over 30 million homes in America have radio, and they're testing a new technology called television. Best of all, La Verne College is celebrating its 50th anniversary.
Hold it up higher. Up higher.
In the first years of World War II, enrollment dropped to 95 students, 75 women and 20 men. Women students sang woefully,
"Of all sad words of tongue and pen, the saddest of these, there are no men."
In 1947, with the I.J. Woody dormitory construction underway, the highest enrollment ever, and the school's deficit paid off, Dr. Davis resigned with the satisfaction of a job well done. In his final address, he gave these words of encouragement.
If you should ever be discouraged, remember, institutions are not built in a day, that we have survived 2 world wars and a major depression. Consider, too, that America and the world need the kind of education for which La Verne stands. God still lives. Take courage and go ahead.
Harold Fosnot took office as the 14th president of La Verne College on his 40th birthday, February 8, 1948.
I think everybody needs to know that in building a college, a campus, an ideal like this, that there's an awful lot of dedication went into it. Not of mine alone, but faculty and students and trustees and alumni and community. I don't like to raise money. I didn't when I was president. I was terribly intent upon building the kind of thing here and inviting people to join me in building this, to which people would give. They'd find here a kind of ideal that they could support. And those ideals are the ones which make up the spiritual qualities of this institution. That's what education is all about to me. It's bringing all of life to bear on one goal that you think is terribly important.
It's 1951. The new library has been completed, named after a former president, W.I.T. Hoover. Roland and Cornelia Ortmeyer, dorm parents for Woody Hall. I Love Lucy's a new show. It's a big hit on TV. The Korean War drags on, and we now live with the H-bomb. And La Verne College is 60 years old.
That was an era from 1948 on through my years. That was an era that we call the era of the ascendancy of higher education. People were responding to the call of private colleges and universities. It was the thing to do to go to college. Students were not easy to find because there was all kinds of competition. But even students knew that they had to go to college. So enrollments could increase. And there were, it was the time when people recognized this is the era of higher education. So it was a great thrill to be a part of that. And the rewards of those years can never be written down.
It's 1967. We now have a master's program at La Verne. A British singing group called the Beatles has just taken over the country. Something called the Super Bowl was played for the first time. Nobody cared much about it. There's a war in Southeast Asia. People are marching around the country saying, "Give peace a chance." That's a theme our college has believed in for 75 years now.
In 1968, Harold Fosnot resigned, having served the college for 20 years. In a Campus Times editorial, the feeling of the La Verne students toward Dr. Fosnot were expressed.
Thanks, Dr. Fosnot. Thanks for 20 years of hard work. Thanks for a library, 3 dormitories, a dining hall, a locker room, a chapel, and a science and education building that were built under your leadership. Thanks for your interest in what was on our minds, our point of view. Thanks, Dr. Fosnot, for 20 great years for LVC.
The mood of the nation and events of the 60s would call for a president prepared to provide leadership for a new generation of students, determined to have more say in the direction of the college, more experimentation with learning, freedom to explore who I am. Lee Newcomer was a man for the times. He believed that the role of the small private college was to become innovative and experimental, to become a model for others.
I thought it would be a real fun thing, and I'd never done it before, and if they really wanted this place to change, that's nothing I enjoy doing more than that, and hopefully change it in the right direction, and so I did that, and I was able to carry right on with my mission in life, which has to do with teaching and learning.
Symbolic of the innovation and experimental Newcomer years would be the Student Center complex, the Super Tents. The tent point seemed to beckon one to shoot for the stars, and almost 20 years after their construction, retain a futuristic 21st century image. There were other aspects to the Newcomer master plan that constituted a radical departure from the small liberal arts college La Verne had been for over 3/4 of a century. The January interterm, a time for new innovative courses, independent study, and exchanges with world cultures. Kappa, college accelerated program for adult learners, featuring personalized programs and credit for life experiences. A law school with classes offered both on and off the central campus by distinguished judges and attorneys from the area. A doctoral program in school management with courses offered at clusters around the state. A school of continuing education operating from residence centers around the state and abroad.
When I look back at La Verne and say, what are you the most proud of? I'm proud of those programs and that mission I was talking about, but I'm proud of the program that we set up for undergraduate kids, those flower children, the hippies, the idealists, the long hairs, you know, everybody was upset about those kids, really upset, and I enjoyed them. I think that's one of the reasons I was selected. The whole curriculum of the college was, this is the undergraduate liberal arts curriculum. Who am I? What's the nature and meaning of man in the universe? And what's going to be my role in it all? And I submit to you that that's a liberal arts education. It's more than a liberal arts education, it's education, period.
From 1968 to 1975, much remodeling had been done and new facilities were completed. But the financial burden was overwhelming. In 1975, Armin Serafian accepted the presidency as a challenge and spent a tremendous amount of energy on the financial crisis. Dr. Serafian had a long-time relationship with La Verne. His father, Kevork Serafian, had established the teacher education program and taught at La Verne until 1950. During Dr. Serafian's tenure as president, the college name was officially changed to the University of La Verne. AAIC, the American Armenian International College, was established. And by 1986, students from 19 countries would be on campus. In the early 80s, a curriculum leading to a doctorate of public administration was initiated. A communications department was formed, offering courses in speech, radio, television, and journalism. A school of business was organized, offering business courses strengthened by resources from the business community. A National Energy Research Institute was established, with goals to bring energy education to schools, industry, and to the public. The School for Continuing Education expanded its program, offering classes at 70 locations.
It's 1981. The Alpha Beta Market has been converted into the University Library. Books on Alaska and icebergs can be found in the frozen food section. Just kidding. Everyone is talking about a new movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. President Reagan was shot and cracked jokes about it in the operating room. Satellites in space are no big deal anymore, and they say the personal computer is going to revolutionize the office. But will it do my homework for me? And the University of La Verne is 90 years old.
Richard Landis, president of Del Monte Corporation, an alumnus of La Verne College, and a member of the Board of Trustees, served as chancellor of the university from 1984 until 1985. During a time of great crisis, Landis provided business experience and management stability while the university searched for a new president.
I think we were very close to creating a deficit that the university couldn't live with. I don't think it would have taken more than another year or two if we hadn't, at the time Dr. Serafian left, if we hadn't really tightened our belts substantially, and if we hadn't restructured to make, let me say, university concerns everybody's business.
In 1985, Stephen Morgan, a third-generation graduate and former staff member, returned to serve as La Verne's 17th president. Dr. Morgan's experiences away from the university provided him with perspective, experience, and confidence to lead the university out of perilous times.
I like to think about what the University of La Verne might be in the 21st century. It's hard to do that, though, because sometimes I don't know what we'll be tomorrow or next week. We work hard to plan for 5 or 6 years ahead and develop our plans and visions for the future, but the future is a moving target. As I look back over our past nearly 100 years and the dedication and the perseverance of the people who are the University of La Verne, I am sure of one thing, though, and that is that we will be here to celebrate our second centennial.
A fundraising campaign was initiated in 1986. Partnership 91 would be successful beyond anyone's imagination. A mosaic of what university facilities and programs might be like in the future began to take shape.